Are you worried about choosing the wrong partner? 46% of our audience cited this as their biggest fear in dating. So you aren't alone. But the mistake isn't choosing wrong, it's staying too long, which I learned the hard way in my 20s and even 30s. I'm Julie.
And I'm Yue, and we're sharing what we learned the hard way so you don't have to.
Who?
Choosing the wrong partner, our biggest fear. Well, there's also all this media around, choosing your partner is making the right choice in your partner is the biggest decision of your life. It's going to dictate how your future is and your finances and etc. It feels very overwhelming. So sometimes that puts so much fear in us that we end up saying, like, I don't trust myself in my picker.
It also feels like you can't turn back. Like once you made the
Yes.
decision, you're stuck. And clearly that's not true. Even people get divorced. It's harder, definitely harder to undo it, but it's not like you can never undo it.
And where you don't want to be is you feel like, well, this doesn't feel like the right thing, but I'm going to make it the right thing. I'm going to force it into be the right thing. And I'm going to stay in this for as long as I can. And I'm going to just make sure that this works out.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I look back to when I maybe chose wrong, it was I dated who they could be, not who they were. And then I
Mm.
paid for it later.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I had taken things a little more at face value, then I would have been able to tune in with myself and be like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel good. I don't feel valued. Some of it was I had to get that confidence myself, and I only knew what I knew. Everything's a learning example. I think, you need those experiences, right, to build on each other. So I think to have grace with yourself if you've chosen wrong in the past, because everything teaches you what you're going to stand for in the future.
And we're speaking to you from the future. If you are in your 20s, us being in our 40s, what I would tell my 20-some-year-old self is gotta experience what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know till you get into a relationship
Yeah.
and you're put in certain scenarios. So yeah, sometimes a relationship fails or you end up with someone you're like, why did I pick that person? Or I feel foolish. Give yourself some grace because you kind of needed to go through that to make this list of like, here are things I like and here are things I don't stand for. But the key here is you take those learnings into the next relationship. You
Yeah.
don't keep repeating the same patterns.
I think it's like the choosing clearly. You can get more refined the more experiences you have. Like, for instance, like the last time around, for consistency was a really big thing for me. That wasn't like the only quality I was looking for, but it was something I hadn't prioritized in the past. And I learned that because I had a slew of very inconsistent relationships. And I don't know if I would have actually learned how important that was for me had those not happened. What I do regret about my past, and look, it is what it is because everything works out the way it's supposed to. Eventually, like I wouldn't have found the person I did if I hadn't stayed in those relationships for as long as I did. But I can look back, like I remember talking to a friend about this. It was like New Year's 2020. So it was like right that before kind of the world changed forever. And I remember talking about like, why do we think we're single? And I was like, I know exactly why I'm single because I stay with the wrong people for too long. I realize that they're wrong and I don't let go to it. I think I can change them. I think that I can give another chance and another chance or overlook something and they'll eventually change. But I think if I had cut out when at the earlier signs, for a few situations. One I mentioned last week, the 2-year situationship. And then the other one was like, I mean, it wasn't all at once, but collectively on and off a 5-year on and off relationship. Wasn't like the only person I was dating in those 5 years. But still, I could have cut that really after 6 months. I learned what I needed to learn after 6 months. I didn't need that to keep being in the background going on for so long after.
And so many of you have probably been the same cycle of staying in something too long or giving it too many chances because you see the potential. You want there to be the potential.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always pan out the way it is. But you learned your lesson. I mean, you still found your husband. It's not like this is all wasted time. I still think you took your learnings
No.
and you learned it and you applied it to the relationship that actually matters.
Absolutely, and that's why I agree there's not it's all meant to unfold the way it is. But if I was to give advice to my younger self, it would be to leave earlier if it
Mhm.
wasn't right.
Yep.
Because I do think that's why I got married when I was 42 instead of getting married when I was, like, 32, right? Because I was in these situations or relationships that I thought were the one that just weren't, looking back.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. My advice to my younger self would be everyone's the right partner until they prove themselves to be the wrong partner. And some partners never show you that proof that they're wrong partner and then you stay with them. But when someone shows themselves to be the wrong partner, that's your cue to leave. And in my last relationship, ended due to infidelity, and people go, "Oh, did you see signs? Or were there any regrets from the beginning?" Yes, in hindsight, I saw signs, but I will also say, truthfully, I felt like he was the right partner until he proved himself not to be. So I can't be that hard on myself because in those moments, my reality was still like, I still choose this person to be my partner.
No, it's a really good point, and part of dating and being in relationships is uncovering who someone is over time, and you may learn something, and that's why I think we put so much emphasis on the choosing wrong part, and I feel like that's actually the wrong way to look at it because the reality is, like, when we go out on dates with someone, right, we're, like, going for drinks, we're talking about surface level shit that doesn't really matter. Like, how could you choose the right person at that stage? You don't know anything about how they're gonna deal with hardship or their character or, all the things that actually dictate if a relationship is gonna work. So, I think we have to choose. We've gotten to a point in dating that everyone's so afraid to choose and they don't choose at all, and then
Mhm.
relationships don't happen. And I don't think that's good either. I'll always go back to this story of our mutual friend. And, she was like, kind of being like, I don't know, like this guy, like he wants to commit, but I'm
Yeah.
not really sure. Like maybe I should just like date other people and like
Yeah.
kind of, see him once every couple weeks. And I'm like, just choose him for a month. Just choose him for a little time, and then you can actually see if it works and then leave if it doesn't. They're still together, what, 2 years later, 2.5 years later?
Yeah, and so in love.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith and the commitment to choose and to say, I own this decision. That's why I came up with the idea of like having a sprint in the beginning of a relationship. You take 30 days and you commit and you treat each other like you are in a committed, exclusive, monogamous relationship. And then end of the 30 days, you can feel what you feel and then keep renewing. But it doesn't mean that it needs to be like this forever choice. I got so hung up in my 20s on who I thought I should be with. And so therefore I picked based on who I imagined myself with, not the
Yeah.
actual feelings for a person. So I would end up with people who were on paper who I thought I should be with, but in reality, with true feelings and real life scenarios, were not the right partner for me. Those are the moments or were teachable moments that if I could go back to my 25-year-old self, I would say, are you choosing based on your heart or are you choosing based on what
Mm.
everybody else is dictating for you to choose?
That is such a good point, and I wanna go into that actually in more depth because it makes me think of a recent episode that we did. But before we do, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. I'm so excited to tell you about our sponsor, Avocado Green Mattress. Their certified organic mattresses are specifically designed to relieve pressure points, support your body the way it needs, and help you actually get the deep restorative sleep you've been missing. Every mattress is made with thoughtfully sourced materials and built with real care, so you get incredible sleep night after night. When I invest in something for my home, I want it to last, but I also want it to feel amazing every every day. My best friend has an avocado mattress. And it is so comfortable. I swear I'm over there and I just want to take a nap. The best part is they're not only just good for you, they're good for the planet. Avocado products are made, not manufactured, thoughtfully crafted with real materials to deliver lasting comfort and support. Go to avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable to check out their mattress and furniture sale. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable, avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable.
I've been doing a little spring reset with my closet lately, focusing more on quality over quantity. Just building a wardrobe of pieces that are well made, versatile, and easy to reach for every day. And that's why I keep coming back to Quince. The fabrics feel elevated, the fits are thoughtful, and the pricing actually makes sense. Quince makes beautiful everyday pieces using premium materials like 100% European linen, organic cotton, and super soft denim, with styles starting at just $50. So I've been on the hunt for the perfect pair of jeans. I don't want them to be skinny jeans, but I don't want them to be too wide-legged either. And let me tell you, I found the perfect pair at Quince. Their Bella Stretch Relaxed Straight jeans fit me like a glove. I look damn good in them, and they feel so comfortable and soft. They're my go-to jeans now. Refresh your spring wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
So I'm thinking of that episode that we did.
We talk a lot on Dateable about being present in dating, but let's be real. That's hard when your phone is basically a third wheel. Enter Brick. Brick is a simple device that helps you put your phone down when you actually want to be in the moment. You just pair your phone to Brick and it locks you out of distracting apps, and suddenly you're not doom scrolling while your date is telling a story about their childhood dog. Whether you're on a first date, having a real conversation, or just trying to stop checking your phone every 30 seconds, Brick creates boundaries with your tech without asking you to delete everything or go full digital detox. Dating is about connection, not notifications. So if you want to be more present and honestly more attractive, check out Brick. Go to getbrick.app/dateable to get 10% off. That's getbrick.app/dateable to get 10% off.
With Sean and Ned, the two BFFs, where we talked about like the pickiness cycle of everyone being picky and, Ned sharing why he thought Sean was still single. And there was something about that episode that like really clicked for me because Sean was sharing, you can go listen to the full episode, but he was sharing how like he was afraid of choosing wrong because his parents got divorced. And
Mhm.
therefore, what he was clinging to was this list of very superficial traits because those were the tangible things that you can control, right? Like you can't really control a lot of like what happens in a 20-year marriage or, different aspects that aren't as like obvious on paper. So he was like really clinging to stuff that like ultimately wouldn't actually be a reason you get divorced. You called that out. You're like, no one gets divorced because like they lost like attraction. Like that's very limited like reasons for divorce in the first place. But I thought it was very fascinating that a lot of times we try to control because we don't want to choose wrong, but we're controlling the wrong elements almost.
Control the outcome, which we don't know. We have no control over the outcome, what the future may hold, what someone else does or thinks, and how they change. But we can control how we show up in this relationship, in this moment. And a lot of times, what we hear from all of you is nobody's showing up because they're so afraid of the outcome. You just show up kind of half assed, like, oh, if you like me and if you want to keep seeing me, I guess we'll just keep seeing each other. But you've kind of lost agency and confidence in your decision making. So we're here to tell you, but also show up fully for yourself, at least in this relationship. Like, actually commit to yourself. Who cares what the outcome is because the outcome is so uncontrollable?
The reality is like there is no right partner. So this whole like choosing the wrong partner, it kind of it makes it feel like there is a right partner, right? The best thing you could do is find someone that you can create with and work through things. So I think that's why it's so much more important to have someone and go through a challenge and see how you 2 navigate it together than, like, do they have all the qualities on paper that you're looking for? Like, to me, that's so much more preventative of choosing the wrong partner, because there is no right partner. It's someone that you create with.
You're right. The right partner is built, not given to you. And in my 20s, I thought the right partner would come right out of the box, all packaged to be the right person for me. And so I searched everywhere. I was like, this person exists for sure. Just like, they're just ready to be the right person for me. But it took me to be dating in my mid-30s to actually realize this is something you have to create together with someone who's willing to create and build with you.
So I shared this in one of the quickies from a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month or 2 ago at this point. It's been a bit. And I went to a book talk with Paul Eastwick at the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco. And the guy who's like in charge of programming, he kind of stepped in at one point. And at first I was like, oh God, why is this guy like interrupting? Like, what is he going to say? But then he dropped something that I thought was so like just that element of simplicity but truth that I was like, wow, I'm so glad he stepped in. He said from this whole conversation about like attraction and choosing the right people, he was like, this guy's been married for years. He goes, find someone that you're 80% compatible with and actively tries to maximize your happiness and minimize your pain. That's all you need. And
Mm.
I was like, there's something about that that's so simple. Again, like so like baseline, but it's almost like we do overcomplicate it so much. Like you just need to find someone you mesh with that wants to make life better for both of you.
For both of you. And they want to do life with you.
Yeah, that's all you need.
But I can hear people go, why is that person so hard to find? Is it because it's a paradox of choice? There's so many options. Everybody's trying to maximize for the next best thing. Like, how do I realistically find someone who's willing to do life with me?
I mean, I do think it's all of those things. I do. I think you need to find someone that is bought into the same mentality. And I think this is what's broken in dating today is that we're out of that. Like, think about like our parents' generation. Granted, there's some benefits of course, like, dating more and learning about what's good for you than just jumping in with anyone from a divorce rate perspective. But dating wasn't as complicated in the sense of like, I just met someone, I learned if we like work together, and then we made it work.
My mom was saying the same thing. I told you this, she's still like, you guys wrote a book about dating? Why? Is it really that complicated? Because she met my dad. They
Yes,
met in
yes, it is.
college. They met in college in their class. I think they had a class of 50 people. There are 13 couples that came out of out of this class, okay? So she said all of them are still together except for the ones who passed away. With the exception of death, everybody else is still together. She's like, it's because we went through an experience together. We actively chose the partner that we
Yeah.
chose. And now we've all built these lives that we're really proud of. So, yeah,
Yeah.
is it really that complicated?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes you think because we have definitely intellectualized dating a lot. And I think it is a byproduct of having more options. Like, it's almost like because it's been delayed, we feel like we're owed all these attributes, but it's just they don't really matter in the long run. But it's unlearning a lot of that, which we do talk about in How to Be Dateable, our book, quite a lot. But I think it is finding someone that when again, not settling, like you're finding someone you're still excited by and attracted to, but you're willing to like create with them. Like it doesn't have to all be in place.
And even when you do find someone that you can create with and they want to do life with you, you still don't guarantee a future, right? You still don't have this
No.
guarantee of everything working out. And that's the part we have to let go is really like who knows what could pan out as long as you get to experience doing life with someone for a period of time. That is the kind of the life lesson we all want.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like, even having friends that are going through divorces that have children, it's like, yeah, shit might have hit the fan, but you still got this experience. You have beautiful children that clearly are so important and like the loves of your lives, like you wouldn't have had that had you not had that experience. So it's like
Yeah.
everything happens for a reason. And I think we just need to have more experiences, even if it results in getting your heart broken. Yeah, no one's saying those are like good experiences, but by having zero experiences, and that's where we're headed by being so like cautious about everything, that's not really allowing for anything positive to happen either.
What would you say to someone who's in their, let's say, late 20s, who's like, I haven't had much relationship experience. I do want to do life with someone. I'm ready to get into relationships, but I'm feeling like I'm behind. What would you say to someone in their late 20s who feels like they're a little behind because they haven't had much
Mm.
relationship experience, but they're ready? They're ready to get into relationships. They're like, but do people want to get in a relationship with me? Am I too far behind?
We do hear this so much, but I don't think there is like a right path. Like everyone's on their own path. And what I would urge is not to let that be the thing that holds you back from getting into relationships. Like we were saying at the start of this, like you kind of just need to dive in and see what you like and what you don't like. I think there's a time and a place for serial dating, even. I think when I hit my like 30s, I was like, okay, I've done this. I know enough of like what I'm looking for. I don't need to go on like 10 dates like a month or whatever, even in a week, like I used to do. But I do think for someone that maybe doesn't have as much of experience, just get out there and like meet people and learn what you like, what you don't like. And again, you don't have to like commit to someone on date one. You're just meeting people and getting data for yourself and understanding your preferences.
We can redefine what relationships are. Like some people feel like I have to be in these year, 2 year, 3 year long relationships to have that experience. No, think about your relationship with your friends, the dates that you've been on, people you've had a connection with. Those are all relationships you can learn from. So anybody who's like, I
Yeah.
don't have much experience, you probably do. You're just labeling them a little different.
I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like we have like, friendships that dissolve all the time and,
Hmm.
that don't end up being like forever friends. I mean, clearly we have friends that are too, but we don't hold the same weight of like, oh, you chose wrong. Like you chose the wrong friend. It's more just like we drifted apart or I learned something about them that makes me not want to invest in this friendship. And I almost wish we gave dating that same lens of like, there's less pressure to choose and you're just meeting people and seeing what happens and then learning. And if it's not aligned, you exit. It's not like, oh, you chose wrong or you should have seen this coming or I'm stuck forever if I choose wrong. Like, none of that is true. And like, why do we hold that weight to romantic partnerships when we don't in other parts of life? Even like a job. It's like we could choose wrong. We can choose a bad job, but we go find another job. It's not as stigmatized.
Very true.
Okay, the one takeaway that we're both gonna leave people with from this. What's yours, UA?
My takeaway is your picker is not off, but learn from all your choices so that you can apply those learnings to the next one.
Mine is the biggest way to quote unquote choose wrong is only when someone does not choose to be in it with you. And as soon as that happens, it's a sign to leave. And again, you didn't do anything wrong. You just got new information. And let's put less of an emphasis on the choosing part because we don't realistically have every piece of information we need to know if we can last a lifetime with someone. But we are in a constant evaluation. If something doesn't feel right and we can't work through it together, then you always have the option to leave something. But we also need to like try to work through it together and not just bounce.
That's right.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't gotten our book yet, How to Be Dateable, go pick it up now. I feel like there was a lot of this conversation that's very relevant there. We even have like the only 7 things that matter when deciding if you should like further invest in someone to like tell you if you're kind of on the right track. I hate using the word right, but you're on the track that's good for you. So you could pick that up wherever books are sold or go get the audiobook.
That's right. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.